Welcome to Read and Learn English. Today, we will learn about a very special man. His name is Warren Buffett. Many people know him as a billionaire. He has a lot of money. But today, we will see him as a person first. A person who started small, just like you and me. A boy who loved numbers and ideas more than toys and games. Warren was born in Omaha, a city in the United States. When he was a child, he was very curious. He liked to count things, read numbers, and think about business. While other children played outside with friends, Warren was busy selling small things. He sold chewing gum, soda, and even small pinball machines. Some children thought it was strange. Why work when you can play? But Warren had a different idea. He wanted to learn how money works. He wanted to understand business. Imagine two children. One spends all the money he has on toys and candies. He enjoys them for one day and forgets. The other child thinks carefully, saves some money, and invests it in small things. He may not get a big reward immediately, but over time, his small actions grow. Warren was that second child. He learned to be patient. He learned to think about the future. He learned the power of small actions every day. Even as a young boy, Warren did not need a lot of money to start learning. He learned by observing, counting, and trying small business ideas. Sometimes he made mistakes. He lost money on small things, but he never gave up. He learned from mistakes and tried again. This habit of learning from errors made him strong. It gave him knowledge and confidence. We can learn from Warren's story. His life teaches us about patience, curiosity, and careful thinking. These lessons are not only for money and business, they are for learning English too. When you study English, you can be patient like Warren. You can practice small steps every day. You can learn from mistakes and try again. One day, small steps become big success. In this story, we will follow Warren Buffett's journey. We will see how he learned about money, how he made his first investments, and how he built Berkshire Hathaway. We will learn the habits that made him successful and the lessons we can use in our own lives. By the end, you will not only know more about Warren Buffett, but also feel inspired to take action in your life and your English learning journey. Next, we will see Warren as a young boy, discovering the first secrets of money and business in Omaha. Early curiosity. When Warren Buffett was a young boy, he was not like other children. Many kids spent their time playing outside, running with friends, and dreaming about toys. Warren liked numbers and ideas. He liked to think. He liked to see how money worked. He was curious. He asked questions. How does money grow? How do people make business work? These questions stayed in his mind. Warren's first small business started with chewing gum. He bought gum for a few cents and sold it for a little more. He learned the first lesson. If you plan carefully, small actions can make a difference. He watched how people bought gum. He noticed which flavors sold faster and which flavors were ignored. Other children only chewed gum or spent money on candies. Warren learned to see opportunity where others did not. Next, Warren tried selling soda bottles. He bought empty bottles, filled them with soda, and sold them at a small profit. Sometimes it worked very well, and sometimes it did not. But he always learned from each experience. He learned about prices, customers, and timing. He learned that patience and careful thought were more important than luck. Other children saw money as a tool to spend quickly. Warren saw money as a tool to learn and grow. One of his most famous childhood businesses was a pinball machine. He bought a small machine for a local bar and collected the money people paid to play. It was exciting for him. He felt proud to see money grow in front of his eyes. He also learned responsibility. He had to take care of the machine, count the money, and manage time. This small experience taught him lessons that would stay with him for life. Many adults never learned such lessons, but Warren started early. Imagine two children. One child spends all money on toys or candies and enjoys them for a short time. The other child invests a little money in small projects, learns from each step, and watches it grow slowly. Over time, the second child's knowledge and experience become very valuable. Warren was that second child. His curiosity and careful actions created a strong foundation for the future. Even at a young age, Warren read books about money and business. He was hungry for knowledge. He read newspapers, learned about stocks, and listened carefully to his father, who worked in investment. He asked many questions. Some adults thought it was strange for a child to think so much about money. But Warren believed learning from life was better than wasting time. Sometimes Warren made mistakes. He spent money on things that did not work, or he bought something that lost value. But he never gave up. Every mistake became a lesson. He wrote down ideas, remembered what worked, and tried new projects. His curiosity was like a small seed. Each day it grew a little. Each success and mistake added water to the seed. Over time, it grew into a strong tree of knowledge and experience. What makes Warren different is not just his love for money. It is his love for learning and exploring. He saw the world as full of opportunities. Every small business he tried taught him something important. He learned about saving, investing, responsibility, and planning. He learned that small steps, done carefully every day, could lead to big success. We can learn from this story too. If you are learning English, you can follow the same idea. Start with small steps. Read a little every day. Practice speaking a little every day. Ask questions and be curious. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Every small step brings you closer to success. Just like Warren built his skills with gum, soda, and pinball machines, you can build your knowledge and confidence slowly, step by step. Warren's early curiosity also taught him to see patterns. He learned to notice small details. He learned to think carefully before making decisions. These skills were important when he started investing money later. Understanding opportunities, risks, and timing comes from years of careful observation. Warren's childhood was not about fun and games only. It was about learning life lessons in simple ways. In Omaha, young Warren was already different. He was quiet, focused, and thoughtful. He spent hours thinking about numbers and how business worked. While other children played video games or sports, Warren created small businesses. He earned small profits, learned responsibility, and became confident in his skills. Every small action gave him knowledge. Every failure gave him courage. This early curiosity shaped Warren's future. It showed him that success comes from learning and trying, not from luck or magic. He learned that small steps matter. Each idea, each project, and each lesson built a foundation for bigger achievements. This curiosity would lead him to understand investments, choose smart opportunities, and eventually grow Berkshire Hathaway into one of the most successful companies in the world. By being curious, careful, and patient, Warren learned lessons that most adults take decades to understand. And the same lessons can help us today, not just in money, but in learning English, building skills, and achieving dreams. Next, we will see how this curiosity led Warren to his first investments and the important lessons he learned about risk, patience, and smart choices. First investments. When Warren Buffett was still a young boy, his curiosity about money and business grew stronger. He did not want only to sell gum or soda. He wanted to make his money grow in bigger ways. One day, he learned about something called a stock. A stock is a small part of a company. If the company does well, the stock grows, and you can earn money. If the company does badly, the stock loses value. Warren was excited. This was a new way to use his small savings. Warren's first stock purchase was not very big. He used the money he saved from selling soda, gum, and small items. He chose a company that seemed good. He studied the numbers carefully and made a plan. When he bought the stock, he felt proud. This was more than selling small things. This was a real investment. He was learning how to think like a businessman, but not everything went as planned. Sometimes the stock went down. Warren felt nervous. He remembered his mistakes from selling small businesses. Losing money hurt, but he did not stop. Instead, he watched carefully and learned. He studied the company, the market, and the reasons why the stock moved up or down. He realized that investing is not about luck. It is about careful thinking, planning, and patience. Imagine two children again. One child finds a coin and spends it quickly on candy. The candy is gone in one day, and the child forgets about it. Another child takes the same coin and invests it carefully in something that may grow over time. This child may not see big results today, but in the future, the reward can be much bigger. Warren was that second child. He learned to wait, to study, and to make thoughtful decisions. Warren also made mistakes with his first investments. Sometimes he chose a company too quickly or trusted advice without thinking carefully. These mistakes were small, but they taught him important lessons. He learned to ask questions, to read carefully, and to think about risks before making decisions. Every mistake gave him knowledge. Every loss taught him patience. Unlike many children who would give up after a failure, Warren kept trying. He understood that mistakes are not failures, they are lessons. He learned that money can teach important life skills. Investing is not only about earning more money, it is about thinking clearly, learning from errors, and planning for the future. Warren's early investments showed him that careful actions, patience, and observation were more valuable than quick gains or easy money. As Warren continued, he started to notice patterns. Some companies did well because they made good products. Some companies failed because they did not plan carefully. Warren learned to look beyond the surface. He read about company profits, sales, and leadership. He noticed which businesses were strong and which were weak. This skill was not only about money, it was about thinking logically and making smart choices. Even though Warren was young, he understood the power of compounding. Compounding means small gains today can become much bigger over time. His early stock purchases were not about becoming rich immediately. They were about learning, practicing patience, and watching how small actions could grow into something larger. This idea of small steps leading to big results became one of his most important lessons. Warren's careful investing also taught him discipline. He did not buy stocks impulsively. He made a plan, followed it, and waited for the right opportunity. He compared this with children who spend money without thinking. The difference was clear: careful planning and patience versus careless spending and short-term pleasure. This contrast helped Warren build the mindset he would need for larger investments later in life. At the same time, Warren began to see the importance of learning from experts. He read books about investing, studied newspapers, and tried to understand how successful investors made decisions. He realized that knowledge is more valuable than luck. A good decision comes from careful study, not just guessing. Through these early investments, Warren learned many lessons that shaped his future. He learned to manage risk, to be patient, and to study carefully. He learned that mistakes are part of learning and that small steps today can lead to big results tomorrow. He also learned the value of curiosity. By asking questions, observing, and trying new things, he discovered ways to grow his money and his mind. These first investments were more than money experiments. They were lessons in life. They taught Warren that success is built slowly, with careful thought, observation, and patience. They showed him that learning is more important than winning immediately. They prepared him for the next stage: education and guidance from mentors who would teach him deeper lessons about investing, business, and life. Soon, Warren would meet people who would change his understanding of money and strategy. These mentors would show him principles that could guide his life and investments for decades. But everything started with his first stock purchases, the small, careful steps that taught him the power of observation, patience, and learning from mistakes. From selling gum and soda to buying stocks, Warren's journey was already forming. He learned that careful action, small steps, and curiosity are the foundation for success. And this foundation would support everything he would build in the future. Next, we will explore how Warren met mentors who guided him, shared knowledge, and showed him new ways to think about business and investment. Learning from mentors. When Warren Buffett was young, he already understood that learning from experience was important. But he also realized that learning from wise people could help him grow much faster. Warren wanted to become a great investor, but he knew he needed guidance. One person changed his life: Benjamin Graham. Graham was a professor and an expert in investing. He had written a famous book called The Intelligent Investor. Warren read this book carefully. Every page taught him new ideas. Before meeting Graham, Warren had tried to learn by himself. He studied stocks, followed prices, and experimented with small investments. But sometimes he felt lost. It was easy to make mistakes without guidance. Some people invest blindly and lose money quickly. Warren wanted to be different. He wanted knowledge, structure, and understanding. He wanted to follow proven principles rather than guess blindly. Reading Graham's book was like opening a treasure chest. Warren learned important lessons about value investing. He learned to buy companies that were strong but underpriced. He learned to focus on long-term growth instead of short-term gains. Graham's ideas taught him that careful analysis and patience were more important than luck or quick success. Warren studied every example in the book. He wrote notes, solved exercises, and imagined how he would use these lessons in real life. Soon, Warren had the chance to meet Benjamin Graham in person. He attended Graham's classes at Columbia University. He listened carefully to every lecture, asked questions, and absorbed every idea. Warren remembered one important lesson: always invest with a margin of safety. This means being careful and protecting yourself from big losses. Warren realized that without this principle, many investors fail. With it, success becomes more possible. Warren also learned about thinking independently. Graham encouraged students not to follow the crowd. Many people make mistakes because they copy others or chase trends. Warren learned to analyze information, make his own decisions, and trust his judgment. This lesson became very important later when he made huge investments in companies other people ignored. Another key lesson from Graham was discipline. Investing is not exciting every day. Stocks go up and down. Many investors panic or get emotional. Graham taught Warren to stay calm, follow rules, and focus on the long term. This lesson was like a shield. It protected Warren from mistakes and fear. It gave him confidence to act wisely, even when others were nervous or careless. While Graham was his main mentor, Warren also learned from other people. He observed business leaders, investors, and his own father who worked in investment. Each mentor added new ideas. Each story and advice helped Warren see how the world of money worked. He combined knowledge from books, guidance from teachers, and personal experience to form his own style. Contrast this with many people who work blindly. They try to succeed without learning from experts. They guess, follow trends, or copy others. Sometimes it works, but often it fails. Warren chose a different path. He studied carefully, listened to mentors, and applied their knowledge step by step. This approach gave him a strong advantage over others. By learning from mentors, Warren also realized that education never ends. Even successful people need guidance. Knowledge is not something you get once and stop. Warren continued reading, learning, and asking questions every day. He knew that wisdom comes from experience combined with study and guidance. These lessons from mentors shaped Warren's thinking and actions. They taught him to analyze, plan, and make smart investments. They helped him see opportunities clearly and avoid common mistakes. Most importantly, they gave him confidence. He could trust his methods, knowing they were based on tested principles. Through learning from mentors, Warren also developed a love for teaching others. He saw that sharing knowledge is powerful. Helping someone understand a principle or method is like planting a seed. One day, that seed grows into success. Warren learned not only to invest, but also to value wisdom and guidance in life. All these lessons prepared Warren for bigger steps. With a foundation of knowledge, mentorship, and disciplined thinking, he was ready to achieve his first major professional successes. He was no longer just a curious child or a young investor experimenting with small stocks. He was a student of wisdom, ready to use what he learned to build something greater. Next, we will see Warren Buffett take his first big steps in the professional world, using his knowledge and mentorship to make important decisions that would shape his future and the future of Berkshire Hathaway. The power of patience. Warren Buffett learned many lessons from his mentors and early experiences, but one quality became the most powerful in his life. patience. From a young age, he saw that good things do not happen immediately. Small businesses, stocks, and investments take time to grow. Warren understood that waiting and observing carefully was not wasted time. It was a superpower. When Warren first invested in stocks, he saw how quickly people could lose money. Some investors bought shares without thinking. They listened to rumors, followed trends, or tried to make a quick profit. Many of them were excited at first. They imagined huge gains in days or weeks. But soon, the stock prices dropped. They panicked and sold too early. They lost money. Warren watched these impatient traders and learned from their mistakes. He knew he did not want to be like them. Instead, Warren practiced patience. He studied companies for years before buying. He waited for the right moment, the right price, and the right opportunity. One famous story shows this lesson clearly. Warren wanted to invest in a company he believed was strong and reliable, but the price was high at first. Many investors bought it quickly, hoping for a short-term gain. Warren waited. He observed the company's growth, watched its profits, and studied its management. After some time, the price dropped to a fair value. Then, Warren invested. Years later, the company's value grew many times. Patience had turned a careful decision into a huge success. Imagine two people. One is impatient. They want instant results. They take risks, act without study, and expect quick wins. Often, they fail. The other is patient. They study, wait for the right moment, and act carefully. They may not see results immediately, but over time, their efforts grow into something much larger. Warren was the second person. Patience was his secret advantage. Patience was not only about waiting, it was about understanding the rhythm of business and life. Warren knew that every company has cycles. Sometimes profits go up, sometimes down. Investors who panic at the first loss often fail. Warren stayed calm. He trusted his research and waited for the right time. This long-term thinking made him different from many others in the market. Patience also applied to learning. Warren did not try to know everything at once. He studied slowly, carefully, and repeatedly. He read hundreds of pages every day. He asked questions, learned from mentors, and applied lessons step by step. Just like small investments grow over time, knowledge grows with patience. Another story shows the value of patience in his life. Warren once observed a struggling company. Other investors avoided it, thinking it was a bad choice. Warren studied carefully. He understood its potential and waited for the price to reach a good level. When he invested, the company grew steadily over many years. Patience turned an ignored business into a strong investment. Patience also shaped Warren's personal life. He avoided shortcuts and easy choices. He believed in long-term rewards rather than quick satisfaction. He understood that life, learning, and success all require time and effort. This mindset helped him in business, investing, and personal growth. Contrast the impatient trader with Warren Buffett. The impatient trader is anxious, nervous, and easily influenced. They make mistakes, lose money, and regret decisions. Warren, the patient investor, observes, learns, and waits. His decisions are calm, careful, and strategic. Over years, this patience multiplies wealth and wisdom. Through patience, Warren learned another important lesson. Opportunities come to those who wait. Many investors look for immediate results, missing the best chances. Warren waited, studied, and acted when the moment was perfect. He understood that timing and patience together create powerful results. This superpower of patience became a foundation for Warren's next steps. It was a principle that would guide his approach to building Berkshire Hathaway. By waiting, studying, and making careful decisions, he could transform challenges into opportunities. Patience gave him confidence, wisdom, and the ability to see long-term potential. Soon, this quality of patience would help Warren take a struggling textile company and turn it into one of the most successful investment companies in the world. But before that, he needed to combine patience with knowledge, strategy, and vision. Next, we will explore how patience shaped the founding of Berkshire Hathaway and how Warren used his careful thinking and long-term vision to make smart choices that changed his life and the world of investing. Berkshire Hathaway Journey. Warren Buffett's patience and careful thinking led him to an important moment in his life, the beginning of Berkshire Hathaway. At first, Berkshire Hathaway was not the powerful company we know today. It was a small textile business. Many people thought it was a failing company. The machines were old, the profits were small, and the future looked uncertain. Most investors ignored it or sold quickly. But Warren saw something different. He saw potential. He saw opportunity where others saw problems. Warren knew that success is not always about buying the best company. It is about making smart decisions, learning carefully, and thinking for the long term. When he first looked at Berkshire Hathaway, he studied its books, profits, and management. He asked questions and learned all he could. Others thought it was too late to invest. They saw a failing business. Warren saw a chance to transform the company and use it as a vehicle for bigger investments. At first, Warren invested slowly. He bought shares little by little, just as he did with his first stocks. He watched the company carefully, learning about the industry and understanding its challenges. This approach reflected the lessons he learned from his mentors. He did not rush. He did not act impulsively. He combined patience, careful study, and strategy to make his decisions. Over time, he increased his investment. The transformation of Berkshire Hathaway was not easy. The textile business faced competition, high costs, and declining profits. Many investors would have given up. Warren did not. He understood that sometimes a failing company can still provide a foundation for bigger opportunities. Instead of focusing only on the problems, he looked for ways to grow. He thought strategically. He planned long-term moves that others could not see. One of Warren's most important decisions was to shift focus. He realized that the textile business alone could not bring large wealth, but Berkshire Hathaway could become a holding company, a place to invest in strong, growing businesses. He used the lessons from Graham and his mentors. He applied patience and careful analysis. He started buying other companies and investments under the Berkshire name. Slowly, the company transformed from a struggling textile mill into a diversified investment powerhouse. Contrast this with other companies at the time. Many failed because they only reacted to problems. They sold businesses quickly or tried to fix everything at once. They lacked vision. Warren was different. He had a clear plan. He waited for the right opportunities. He invested in businesses that were strong, well-managed, and priced fairly. He trusted his research, his knowledge, and his long-term perspective. This strategic vision set him apart. Warren also applied important personal habits to Berkshire Hathaway. He stayed disciplined, avoided distractions, and focused on clear goals. He did not chase trends or follow what everyone else was doing. Many investors looked for short-term profit. Warren looked for companies with long-term value. This approach helped Berkshire grow steadily, even when other investors made mistakes. Over time, Berkshire Hathaway became known not for textiles, but for its smart investments. Warren invested in insurance, banking, consumer goods, and other industries. Each investment was chosen carefully, with attention to long-term growth. This strategy allowed Berkshire to grow beyond what most people expected. The company became a symbol of careful planning, patience, and vision. Imagine two business owners. One sees only problems and gives up. The other sees potential, studies carefully, and makes strategic decisions. The first loses opportunity. The second builds wealth and success. Warren was the second owner. He transformed Berkshire Hathaway not by luck, but by careful observation, learning, and patience. Every decision reflected his understanding of value, risk, and opportunity. This journey also taught an important lesson about mindset. Many people see problems and feel discouraged. Warren saw the same problems but saw them as challenges to solve. Where others saw risk, he saw chance. Where others saw failure, he saw opportunity. This mindset is one of the keys to success in life, not just business. Berkshire Hathaway also reflected Warren's unique principles. He did not just want profits, he wanted smart, disciplined, long-term growth. Every investment decision followed his rules. Study the company carefully, understand the business, buy at a fair price, and wait patiently for results. This approach created a strong foundation that grew steadily over decades. Even small investors can learn from this story. Success is not always about starting with the best opportunities. It is about seeing what others miss, planning carefully, and acting strategically. Warren's journey with Berkshire shows that patient observation and smart decisions can transform even a struggling company into a powerful engine of growth. This journey also highlights the importance of courage. It is easy to follow the crowd, sell when others sell, and avoid risk. It is harder to trust your research, wait for the right moment, and make decisions against popular opinion. Warren showed that courage, combined with knowledge, patience, and strategy, can produce extraordinary results. Through Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett demonstrated that real success comes from seeing opportunities where others see problems, from careful planning, and from thinking for the long term. This strategy allowed him to build one of the most successful investment companies in the world. Next, we will explore the strategies that made Berkshire Hathaway unique and how Warren used them to create lasting growth and wealth while staying disciplined and focused on his principles. Investment philosophy. Warren Buffett's success with Berkshire Hathaway was not only about patience or opportunity, it was also about a clear investment philosophy. From his earliest days, Warren learned that having rules and understanding is more important than luck. He developed principles that guided every decision, helping him grow wealth steadily and safely. These ideas are simple but powerful, and they can teach us lessons beyond investing. One of Warren's most important principles is called value investing. Value investing means buying something for less than it is really worth. Imagine seeing a candy that usually costs $1, but today it is 50 cents. If you know it is good candy, buying it now will give you more value. Warren looked for companies that were strong and reliable, but were selling at a fair or low price. He did not follow trends or gossip. He studied the real value carefully. Another principle is long-term thinking. Warren never bought a stock hoping to sell it next week. He wanted to invest in companies that would grow for many years. One famous story is when he bought Coca-Cola. He saw a strong brand, good management, and products people loved. Many investors only thought about short-term profits and ignored Coca-Cola. Warren was patient. He invested and waited. Over years, the value grew steadily. This lesson shows the power of thinking for the long term instead of chasing fast rewards. Warren also emphasized understanding the business. He never invested in something he did not fully understand. For example, he avoided technology stocks at first because he did not understand how they worked. Instead, he focused on businesses he knew well. Geico, an insurance company, was a perfect example. Warren understood how insurance works, how the company makes money, and how it could grow. By understanding the company deeply, he could make safe, smart decisions. Contrast this with many investors who chase trends. They buy the newest stock or product without studying it. They hope it will rise quickly. Sometimes it works, but often it fails. Many people lose money because they act without understanding. Warren's approach was different. He took time to analyze, study, and wait for the right opportunity. This careful approach reduced risk and increased the chance of success. Discipline was another key part of his philosophy. Warren had rules, and he followed them strictly. He did not let emotions control his decisions. When others panicked and sold stocks, he stayed calm. When others rushed to buy the newest hot investment, he waited. These rules were simple, but following them consistently created extraordinary results. Warren also believed in investing in strong management. A good company can fail if its leaders make poor decisions. He studied the people who ran businesses carefully. He looked for honesty, intelligence, and careful planning. Companies with strong management could survive challenges and grow over time. By choosing leaders wisely, Warren increased the chances of long-term success. Another principle is focusing on quality over quantity. Warren did not buy many small, risky companies. He chose a few excellent companies and invested deeply in them. Coca-Cola and Geico are examples. Many investors spread money across dozens of stocks without real understanding. Warren concentrated on quality and trusted the companies he knew. This approach made his investments stronger and safer. Warren's philosophy also included patience combined with observation. He monitored companies carefully. If a business was struggling, he studied the reasons. He waited for the right moment to invest or expand. He did not react to short-term problems or panic. This long-term, patient approach made his investment decisions much more effective than those of impulsive investors. Even in small decisions, Warren followed these principles. He never ignored risks. He always considered value, quality, management, and long-term potential. He learned from every mistake and applied lessons carefully. Over decades, these simple rules, followed consistently, built enormous wealth and stability for Berkshire Hathaway. Warren's investment philosophy teaches lessons beyond money. In life, we can follow the same principles. Look for value in opportunities, think long-term, understand what you do, focus on quality, and follow clear rules. Many people rush into decisions without thinking. Warren's approach shows that careful study, discipline, and patience create steady, lasting success. For English learners, these lessons can guide learning too. Instead of trying to memorize everything quickly, focus on understanding deeply. Study a little every day, practice with care, and follow a plan. Avoid chasing trends or shortcuts. Just like Warren analyzes companies, analyze your mistakes, understand your challenges, and plan for the long term. Patience, understanding, and careful steps will grow your skills over time. Warren also teaches the importance of simplicity. His philosophy is simple, easy to follow, but powerful. He avoided complicated strategies. He focused on clear ideas, value, patience, understanding, quality, and discipline. Following simple rules consistently can create extraordinary results. Through this philosophy, Berkshire Hathaway became a model for investment success. Each decision reflected careful thought, deep understanding, and long-term planning. Warren's approach allowed him to take strong companies and grow their value steadily over years. This method built trust, stability, and consistent growth. Next, we will see how Warren learned from mistakes and challenges, and how he turned errors into lessons that strengthened his decisions and shaped his future success. These lessons will show that even the smartest investors are human, but learning from mistakes makes them stronger. Mistakes and learning. Even Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world, made mistakes. He is not perfect. When people see his success, they often forget that every person, even the smartest, faces failures. Warren's mistakes were part of his journey. They taught him lessons that helped him grow stronger. Without mistakes, he could not have built the wisdom that guided Berkshire Hathaway. One early mistake happened when he invested in a company that seemed promising. He studied the numbers and thought it was a good buy. But the company struggled. The stock dropped. Warren felt disappointed. He had made an error in judgment. Many investors might panic and sell immediately. They might feel embarrassed or afraid to try again. But Warren did something different. He studied carefully. He tried to understand what went wrong. He learned from the experience instead of giving up. Warren realized that mistakes are not failures. They are lessons. Every error teaches something valuable if you take time to understand it. He wrote notes about each mistake and analyzed them. What did he miss? What assumptions were wrong? How could he improve next time? By reflecting on errors, Warren turned failure into knowledge. This mindset became one of his strongest tools. Another example was an investment in a business that seemed to grow quickly, but later faced unexpected challenges. The company had strong profits at first, but market changes caused losses. Many investors avoided the problem or blamed others. Warren looked carefully. He studied the situation and learned why the business failed to meet expectations. He understood that not all opportunities succeed, and that's normal. The key is to learn and adapt. Contrast this with people who fear failure. Some investors avoid risks completely. They never try because they are afraid to make mistakes. Others panic after one small loss and give up. Warren's approach was different. He accepted that mistakes happen. He knew that courage, combined with learning, is more valuable than avoiding risk. By studying errors, he gained knowledge that prepared him for bigger, smarter decisions in the future. Even in personal choices, Warren learned from mistakes. He sometimes misjudged timing or value in an investment. Sometimes he trusted advice that did not work out. Each mistake became a chance to improve. Over time, he developed a careful process: study, observe, reflect, and act. This method minimized errors and turned them into growth. Warren also learned about patience through mistakes. Some investments lost value in the short term, and it was tempting to sell quickly. Many people give up at the first problem. Warren waited. He studied the causes of change and kept his long-term perspective. His patience often turned potential losses into gains over time. Mistakes combined with patience became valuable teachers. A famous story shows how learning from mistakes strengthened Warren's skills. He invested in a company that seemed safe, but the stock fell sharply. Many investors panicked. Warren analyzed the company carefully, studied the market, and realized he had overlooked some risks. He adjusted his strategy, avoided similar errors in the future, and made better choices. This experience taught him humility and careful planning. Mistakes taught him more than success sometimes could. Warren's habit of learning from mistakes also influenced Berkshire Hathaway's growth. He encouraged managers and partners to report problems honestly and to learn from errors. This created a culture of reflection and improvement. Companies that fear mistakes often fail because they hide problems or repeat errors. Warren understood that mistakes are normal, and addressing them carefully creates stronger results. In life, mistakes are not only about money, they are about choices, actions, and decisions. Warren applied this lesson in personal growth too. He accepted errors, studied them, and improved continuously. This mindset helped him stay disciplined, confident, and focused. Fear of failure does not lead to success, but learning from mistakes does. Even the smallest mistakes can teach big lessons. Warren learned to observe details carefully, think critically, and act with caution. Over time, these lessons combined with his patience, discipline, and investment philosophy. Mistakes no longer discouraged him. They became stepping stones to greater success. Contrast fear and learning again. Fear makes people stop. Learning makes people grow. Warren chose growth. He turned every challenge into knowledge. This ability to adapt, reflect, and improve became a foundation for his long-term achievements. Without mistakes, he would not have built the skills to make Berkshire Hathaway strong and successful. Mistakes also taught Warren humility. Success can make people arrogant, but reflecting on errors keeps you grounded. Warren remained careful, disciplined, and respectful of knowledge. He understood that even the smartest investor can fail, and the important thing is to learn, adapt, and move forward. Through these experiences, Warren Buffett showed that mistakes are not a reason to quit. They are opportunities to improve. They teach patience, observation, reflection, and discipline. These lessons are valuable in money, business, and life. By accepting errors, studying them, and learning carefully, anyone can grow stronger and wiser. Next, we will see how Warren applied discipline and consistent habits to achieve steady growth and success. His personal discipline connects the lessons from mistakes to professional achievements and lifelong learning. Discipline and consistency. Warren Buffett's success did not happen by chance. One of the most important reasons he achieved so much was his discipline. From a young age, he developed routines and habits that helped him learn, grow, and make wise decisions. Discipline is about doing small, careful actions every day, even when it is not exciting. Buffett's life shows how consistent effort creates extraordinary results. One of Warren's most famous habits was reading. He read hundreds of pages every day. Some say he read around 500 pages daily. Newspapers, books, financial reports. He studied them all. While other people relaxed or watched TV, Warren spent hours learning. He wanted knowledge, not quick entertainment. Reading every day helped him understand companies, markets, and opportunities. This daily habit gave him an advantage over others who studied only occasionally. Imagine two people. One is chaotic. They work sometimes, rest often, and study rarely. They hope to succeed but lack consistency. The other person is disciplined. They follow routines, practice every day, and focus on growth. Over time, the second person becomes stronger, wiser, and more successful. Warren was the second person. His small, consistent actions multiplied over years, creating extraordinary results. Discipline also applied to decision-making. Warren never rushed to buy a stock or invest in a company. He studied carefully, checked numbers, and waited for the right moment. Many investors act impulsively, chasing trends or reacting to fear. Warren avoided these mistakes. His careful, thoughtful approach reflected his disciplined mindset. Even small errors were studied and corrected, but never repeated carelessly. Another example of his discipline was his lifestyle. Warren lived simply. He avoided unnecessary expenses and focused on learning and investing. While many billionaires spent extravagantly, he maintained a modest life. This choice allowed him to focus on long-term goals rather than short-term pleasures. Discipline gave him clarity, focus, and freedom to make smart decisions. Discipline is also about consistency and growth. Warren's small daily actions, reading, studying reports, observing markets, added up over time. These actions may seem minor in a single day, but over years, they created vast knowledge and expertise. This principle works for learning English too. Practicing a little every day, reading simple stories, listening carefully, and speaking regularly will grow skills steadily, just like Warren's knowledge grew with his daily habits. Contrast this with a chaotic life. Without discipline, opportunities are missed, mistakes are repeated, learning is slow, life feels unpredictable, and success becomes harder to reach. Discipline does not make life boring, it makes life powerful. Warren's consistent habits gave him confidence, clarity, and the ability to act decisively when opportunity arrived. Even in investing, consistency matters. Warren followed his philosophy every time, without exception. He bought companies he understood, waited patiently, and trusted his research. He avoided shortcuts, trends, and impulsive decisions. By being disciplined and consistent, he minimized risk and increased long-term growth. This approach turned Berkshire Hathaway into a strong, respected company. Discipline also requires patience. Warren combined these qualities perfectly. He could wait for years for the right investment, read and analyze every detail, and act only when confident. Many people want instant results, but Warren understood that small, careful, and repeated actions build real success. His daily habits were small steps that led to huge outcomes. Warren also teaches the importance of learning continuously. Discipline is not only about work, but about growth. He read constantly, reflected on mistakes, and improved strategies. Even after decades of success, he maintained the same routines. This consistency created wisdom that others could not match. In personal life, discipline helps manage time and energy. Warren prioritized what mattered most. He focused on knowledge, investing, and careful decisions. He avoided distractions and impulsive choices. This focus strengthened his abilities and created opportunities. Over time, it built not only wealth, but reputation and trust. People knew that Warren made thoughtful, reliable decisions. His story shows that extraordinary success is not about one lucky action. It is about daily effort, consistent learning, and steady habits. Small, repeated actions, reading, thinking, observing, and learning, compound into results that feel almost magical. Discipline turns ordinary days into a life of achievement. Through discipline and consistency, Warren Buffett became more than an investor. He became a symbol of careful planning, patient effort, and steady growth. These habits shaped his wealth, his career, and his influence in the world. They also provide lessons for learning, personal growth, and everyday life. Next, we will see how Warren combined discipline and patience to build both wealth and reputation, showing that consistent, careful actions create extraordinary results in business and life. Wealth and responsibility. Warren Buffett is famous for being one of the richest people in the world, but wealth was never his only goal. From early on, he understood that money is a tool, not a purpose. He believed that true success is measured not only by what you earn, but also by how you use it. This lesson about wealth and responsibility is one of the most important from his life. Even when Warren had billions, he lived simply. He did not spend extravagantly on luxurious cars or huge mansions. He enjoyed simple pleasures, like reading, spending time with friends, and learning. He understood that accumulating wealth without purpose brings little happiness. Many people work only to get more money, thinking it will make them successful. Warren thought differently. He knew that money is powerful when used wisely, especially to help others. One of the most inspiring stories about Buffett's responsibility is his pledge to give most of his fortune to charity. He promised to donate billions of dollars to improve education, health, and social programs. This decision shows that real success is not only personal, it is about contributing to the world. Warren realized that helping others creates a lasting impact. Wealth can become a source of positive change rather than just personal comfort. Imagine two wealthy people. One spends all money on luxury and comfort. They enjoy life but leave little behind. The other uses wealth to support education, medicine, and opportunities for others. Their life creates meaning, respect, and lasting influence. Warren was the second person. He wanted his money to make the world better, not just to show status. Buffett's philosophy also teaches an important life lesson. Responsibility comes with power. When you have resources, knowledge, or influence, it is your choice how to use them. Selfish accumulation benefits only the individual. Generosity benefits society. Warren believed that giving back is part of being a responsible human and a successful person. This idea is as important as investing or learning, because it connects personal growth with the greater good. Even small actions matter. Warren did not wait to give only at the end of life. He started sharing advice, teaching others about money, and inspiring young investors long before donating billions. Responsibility is about mindset, not just money. Using knowledge, experience, and opportunities to help others creates real value. Contrast selfishness with generosity. Selfish people focus only on what they can get. They worry about wealth and status. Generous people think about how their actions affect others. Warren combined intelligence, patience, and discipline with a generous mindset. His life shows that success and responsibility go hand in hand. True leaders care about impact, not only personal gain. Buffett's approach also teaches humility. Despite enormous wealth, he remained approachable, humble, and grounded. He met ordinary people, spoke kindly, and shared lessons openly. His responsibility extended beyond money. He wanted to give guidance, inspire learning, and encourage ethical decisions. Wealth without humility can create arrogance. Warren showed that real wealth includes character, generosity, and ethical living. Another important lesson is long-term thinking in responsibility. Just like investments, giving back grows over time. Buffett's pledges support charities that continue to help people for decades. This approach creates lasting impact. Small acts of responsibility, repeated consistently, become extraordinary contributions. Generosity is not a one-time event. It is a habit, like discipline in investing or learning. Buffett's life also demonstrates that responsibility brings fulfillment. Money alone cannot give happiness. Many rich people feel empty or stressed despite wealth. Warren's generosity, teaching, and mentorship created purpose and satisfaction. Helping others and making positive impact strengthens life in ways money alone cannot. This lesson applies to all of us. You do not need billions to practice responsibility. Sharing knowledge, helping friends, teaching skills, and supporting your community all build value and meaning. Wealth is more than money. It is what you create for yourself and others with your skills, time, and resources. Warren's philosophy about wealth and responsibility connects closely to his investment principles. Both require patience, study, and careful action. Just as he invests in strong companies for long-term growth, he invests in people, communities, and knowledge to create lasting benefit. Responsibility multiplies like compounding. Small, consistent acts lead to extraordinary results over time. By combining wealth, knowledge, patience, and generosity, Warren Buffett shows that success is complete only when it is used for good. Money alone is not enough. True achievement is measured by learning, growth, and the positive impact you make on the world. His story inspires us to think beyond personal gain and to see opportunities to help others every day. Next, we will explore the final lessons from Warren Buffett's life, how curiosity, patience, discipline, and generosity come together to inspire anyone to achieve success, learn continuously, and create a meaningful life. Life lessons from Buffett. Warren Buffett's life teaches many important lessons, not only about money, but about living wisely. If we look closely, we can see a pattern in his actions. Curiosity, patience, discipline, learning from mistakes, mentorship, and responsibility all combine to create extraordinary success. Each lesson builds on the others, like steps on a staircase. Following them carefully, even in small ways, can change a life completely. Curiosity is the first step. From childhood, Warren was fascinated by numbers, business, and opportunities. He sold gum, soda, and pinball machines, always asking questions and observing carefully. Curiosity pushes us to explore, learn, and understand the world. Without it, life can feel ordinary. With curiosity, we discover ideas, skills, and opportunities that others miss. Patience is the second lesson. Warren waited for the right companies, the right prices, and the right moments. Many investors wanted instant results, but Warren knew that time can multiply effort. Waiting and observing is not wasted time. It is preparation. Small, careful decisions, combined with patience, grow into extraordinary outcomes. This lesson applies to learning English too. Daily practice, even for a few minutes, builds fluency over months and years. Discipline is the third principle. Warren followed strict routines, reading hundreds of pages a day, studying companies, and making careful decisions. Discipline means doing small things consistently. It means avoiding shortcuts, distractions, and impulsive choices. Ordinary people may drift through life without routines or focus. Those who are disciplined, like Warren, turn small daily actions into powerful results. Learning from mistakes is the fourth lesson. Warren made errors, invested in companies that failed, or misjudged timing, but he never saw mistakes as failure. Each mistake was a lesson to study, reflect, and improve. Ordinary people may fear mistakes and avoid risk. Warren embraced them, understanding that reflection turns failure into wisdom. Mentorship is another key lesson. Warren learned from Benjamin Graham, his father, and other experts. Listening to those who have more experience accelerates learning. It prevents repeated mistakes and opens new opportunities. Ordinary life without guidance can be slow and uncertain. Following mentors' advice, combined with personal effort, creates faster growth and clearer decisions. Responsibility is the final lesson. Buffett's wealth was extraordinary, but he used it wisely. He pledged billions to charity and focused on long-term positive impact. Real success includes giving back, helping others, and using resources responsibly. Many people focus only on personal gain, but true fulfillment comes from improving lives beyond your own. Imagine following Warren Buffett's path step by step. Start with curiosity. Ask questions, explore, and notice opportunities. Add patience, wait for the right moment, study carefully, and avoid rushing. Add discipline, practice daily, read, and follow clear principles. Embrace mistakes as lessons. Seek guidance from mentors. And finally, use your knowledge and success responsibly. Small steps compound over time. Each action builds the foundation for life-changing results. Contrast this with ordinary life without planning or principles. Without curiosity, people miss opportunities. Without patience, they make mistakes and give up. Without discipline, small efforts do not add up. Without learning from errors, they repeat the same failures. Without mentorship, growth is slow. Without responsibility, success feels empty. Warren's life shows that following principles transforms ordinary life into extraordinary achievement. Buffett's lessons are not only for investing, they apply to learning English, personal growth, and everyday life. Curiosity motivates you to explore new words, practice speaking, and enjoy reading. Patience reminds you to study regularly, not rush. Discipline keeps you consistent with daily practice. Mistakes teach you correct pronunciation, grammar, and sentence structure. Mentorship, teachers, or guides accelerate learning. Responsibility encourages sharing knowledge and helping others. By applying Buffett's principles step by step, learners can see progress over time. One new word each day, one short conversation, one careful reading, these small actions add up. The journey may feel slow at first, but like Warren's investments, the results grow steadily. Ordinary effort becomes extraordinary achievement with consistency and care. Warren Buffett's life is a story of wisdom, patience, and thoughtful action. From a curious boy in Omaha to one of the world's greatest investors, every step reflects learning, discipline, and purpose. Following his lessons does not guarantee billions, but it guarantees growth, skill, and fulfillment. Each principle teaches us how to make better decisions, live wisely, and create positive impact. For English learners, the message is clear. The same principles apply to language, knowledge, and personal growth. Small steps every day, patience, consistency, learning from errors, guidance, and responsible effort will transform your skills and confidence. Like Buffett, you can build extraordinary results with ordinary actions done consistently and wisely. The journey may take time, but each step is valuable. Curiosity leads to discovery, patience to mastery, discipline to habit, mistakes to lessons, mentors to guidance, and responsibility to meaning. Follow these steps, and your life, like Warren Buffett's, can grow into something remarkable. Thank you for watching until the end. Today, we explored the life of Warren Buffett, not just as a billionaire, but as a student of curiosity, patience, discipline, and responsibility. We learned how small actions, repeated daily, can grow into extraordinary success. Every story from Buffett's childhood, first investments, mentors, mistakes, and philanthropy teach us lessons for life and for learning English. Learning English is much like investing. It takes time, patience, and consistent effort. You will make mistakes, but every mistake is a step toward improvement. You need curiosity to explore new words and phrases, discipline to study daily, and guidance from mentors, teachers, or resources. By following Buffett's principles, you can transform your learning journey, just as he transformed small investments into enormous success. Remember, small steps matter. A few minutes of reading each day, listening carefully, speaking slowly, and practicing consistently will build your confidence and skills. Mistakes are natural. Learn from them, reflect, and keep going. Just as Warren studied every investment carefully, study your English skills carefully. Observe patterns, repeat exercises, and stay patient. Progress may feel slow at first, but over time, it grows into something extraordinary. Responsibility is important too. Share your knowledge with friends, help others practice English, and inspire people around you. True success is not only personal achievement, but the impact you create in the lives of others. Warren Buffett's generosity teaches us that wealth, knowledge, and skill are most meaningful when used to help and inspire others. By combining curiosity, patience, discipline, learning from mistakes, mentorship, and responsibility, you can reach goals that once seemed impossible. Follow Buffett's journey as a model, but adapt it to your life and learning. Set clear goals, practice daily, learn consistently, and stay patient. Over time, your skills, confidence, and achievements will grow steadily. Just like Berkshire Hathaway grew from a small textile company into a world-leading investment company. We hope this story has motivated you not only to learn English, but also to develop habits, think long-term, and act wisely. Every day is an opportunity to improve. Every small action counts. Every lesson, whether from success or mistake, moves you closer to your goals. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue learning English while discovering inspiring stories and life lessons, please subscribe to our channel, Read and Learn English. Here, we combine motivation, storytelling, and practical language practice to help you improve every day. Remember to like, share, and comment with your thoughts. Your engagement helps us create more helpful and inspiring content for learners like you. Thank you again for staying until the end. Start small, stay consistent, and apply the lessons you learned from Warren Buffett to your life and learning journey. Your potential is unlimited, and every step you take brings you closer to the life you dream of. Keep learning, keep growing, and never give up.